Hi, folks. So, I don't know what happened today at some point, or whether I read it or can't remember. Don't know. But I started thinking about being accepted by society. Basically, that was my real thought. Maybe I saw a youngster dressed some way that wasn't the norm or popular, and it made me think about when anybody in my age group, I'm 51, shortly to be 52, who I think when I was, say, 13, 1980, that to try and express yourself via your fashion, I'm trying to talk without using my hands, so I'm going to have to sit on them. To try and, it's really difficult, to try and, no, not to try, that's my hands I'm talking about. To express yourself in 1980 as a young teenager, I found that if you didn't follow either one musical genre or a other type of musical genre, then that made you available for being picked on or being bullied. You had to be accepted by your school friends. And I think that's changed over the last 40 years. In that, as an older person looking out on it, there seems to be more youth expressing themselves via fashion. And I think that's just one way of doing it, particularly when you're that age group. My hands have sneaked out again. So as we get older, I think it's easier to express our individuality, because we can cope with the comments that we may get on, and adults aren't as vicious about such things as children may be to one another. And then I remembered a quote, or a good comeback that my wife's dad said to my wife, was that she's always been a little bit bespoke. What a great way to say that you've always been different. Now, we have to, I think we all want to express ourselves in some way. But when you're a child, when you're a teenager or a youngster, even maybe in your 20s, you still want to fit in with your circle of friends, and you tend to do whatever they do to be accepted. And to you, that acceptance, or to the individual, that acceptance equates to some form of love or respect. Then as you get married, you can maybe start expressing more of the true you. If I told any of my friends now that I listen to classical music or jazz, and they would be shocked. They would, because you just hid a certain part of your personality until you get to an age where you can sort of go back and say, you know what, I used to like doing that or being that person. And you see a lot of these memes going around about promoting the idea of being an individual and accepting your individuality. And I've probably posted them myself because I believe that we should be individual. The problem happens when we have to conform to society. And that can sometimes put a stop or a reining in of who you truly are. I mean, if you want to walk around like Mickey Mouse all day, then you should be able to do so. It should be nobody's business but your own. But you'd be seen as the local crazy if you did something like that, and then you'd probably get kids picking on you, knocking on your door and all that sort of stuff. So there's this fine line between everybody pushing you to excel and be an individual, and yet society holding us in to stop us from being individuals. And I think my point of this thought train is that when you reach a certain age, you are more able to accept and define your own acceptability. You know what you're good at, you know what you're bad at. And for me, having the relationship for one, and being in a position where I don't have to worry about finances and that sort of thing, and I've got a bit more time on my hands, I can express that and I can push the limits of what is accepted by society, by the fact that I don't have to conform to being clean shaven for work. I don't have to wear a suit and tie for work. It's these little things that chip away at our individuality. I remember another saying that was thrown at me. It wasn't thrown out, that sounds as if it was having a dig, but I don't think it was. I didn't take it as a dig. So was that I was the most flamboyant member of staff. Now, yeah, I had to wear a uniform, so I don't know how you can be flamboyant and wear a uniform at the same time, which then takes me to believe that being an individual is not how much we express ourselves. My hands are out again. It's not how much we express ourselves in the way we show ourselves to the world, but in something deeper that must come out. How can somebody who wears a uniform be described as flamboyant? It also makes me sound a little bit gay, and I don't mean that in a derogatory tone, but in a more gay men are known to have a great taste and can be flamboyant in their dress sense. So that's the only way I mean it. But I like the fact that I can choose a uniform that is still uniform but different. And you know, I don't know what it is, but being an individual is how much we think about ourselves, and the fact that we can do that must then be able to shine through like an aura or something that that other people may pick up on. And when you're stuck within these confines of work or the societal expectations of what we are, then it can be difficult to express yourself. So it's just a bit of rambling thoughts tonight, really. You know, we want to be individuals, but we're restrained to a degree that can take that away from us. But there is so much benefit of being an individual, because people respect you for doing that, And yeah, so go out there and be an individual and be flamboyant or bespoke, but be noticed. I think that's the difference. Be noticed. Now that we're in our adults, we can be noticed and we can be all of those things that we couldn't when we were in our teens and early 20s and had our mates to consider. Right, so I'll leave it at that. And it's only when I look back I will see how well I've done without using my hands. Okay, folks, bye.